Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, Season 1, Episode 10. Great episode, a lot of really interesting things are down in this episode, so let's break it down. So our crew is gathered together to eat and study, and I love that basically Usami, well, they said he was up studying pretty late for the test, but also I'm sure stuffing his face didn't help either, but like he's passed out. And I love that Karuko had to go like, hey, there's a whole bunch of limited desserts here, how about we set like a goal for ourselves, and every time we hit one of those goals we get one of those desserts. And his eyes light up, and the guys look at him like it's almost like an elementary school student and his mom. It's just like, that is sad that like she had to bribe you to keep you awake like you're a child, dude. That's such a shame. But yeah, like obviously, like you have Yorita and Saku seeing how Rentaru and Karuko are like together, and just like how he's looking like, even at this point in the story, I mean, they've known for a while, but it's just kind of clear cut to them, and they're just smiling because they see like how like happy and a little flustered he is. But basically, Karuko's like always, hey, if there's anything you don't understand, I can obviously help you. But Rentaro wants to kind of do some of it on his own. He's like, I mean, there's something I really don't understand, I'd ask your help. But he's like, I feel bad if I'm always kind of relying on you, and especially because like I'm sure they also got their own studying to do. And so it's a situation of I don't want to take steps back. I've done a lot to grow over the course of this season, and I want to keep making that progress. But it's like, but I mean, I appreciate you like willing to help me and stuff. And she's like, of course, I'm here if you ever need me. And so I love the whole reveal where it's like they see that the problem solving book that Subaru and Karuko are working on. They're like, wait, that's the books you have at Kikyo? And she's like, yeah. And he shows theirs, and it's like a very thin book. It's like their problem-solving book is like, what, 5 times bigger than theirs? And I love that even she's like, that we had a book like that in middle school, which I'm like, is that supposed to be? Because at first I was like, that can't just be what Usami's using. I think that's just like the general standard. I guess that just shows you the standard of testing and like the amount of work and stuff. It just shows like Kikyo is so far above Chidori in that regard. It's like, oh yeah, they're basically, that's the size of a problem-solving book you would get in middle school, not, you know, but in its defense, like Kikyo is like a highly prestigious school as well, so. But I love that, like, obviously, Subaru is struggling with a problem, and she kind of wants Karuko's help, but I think she also, like, she's very nervous around everyone, so she's being soft-spoken, and she tries to get like Karuko's attention, who's helping Rentaro at the time. But then Usami's like, hey, if you need help, I'm gonna help you. He picks up the book, ... I don't understand anything. They're like, why did you even pick up the book like you were going to be able to help her? But Saku takes it and helps her with the problem and immediately solves it. And they're like, whoa, that's crazy. And she was flabbergasted because she's like, whoa, you did it so flawlessly. They're like, how did you even do it? He's like, well, there's only like one way to, like, there's no like what or how. It's just, there's only one way to solve it. And then Yorita takes this moment to be like, Saku, I've been wanting to tell you this for a while, but you suck at being a teacher. He's like, what? He's like, there's no way. And Usami's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of true. He's like, Rentaro, tell me that's not the case. He's like, I mean, no, it's not your fault, Saku. Like, we're just too stupid to understand. And he starts sinking into despair about it. I mean, like, the whole thing was like a couple episodes back, you know, when him and Usami had their, like, dust up isn't the right word, but they're tiny little falling out, and he wouldn't help them study anymore. It's like, well, he's the only person you can rely on, so even if you can't understand what he does, and I think it's just supposed to be like Saku, things come so easy to him that it's hard for him, and we see it seems like he does kind of struggle socially. That's why like his clique is his clique, but I think it's a thing where he kind of like I think him and Subaru are kind of similar in that regard, but I think he's like, things click so easily in his head that it's probably hard to kind of explain stuff to people. He even breaks it down. He's like, all right, Karuko and Subaru, like, look, I'm going to basically explain this and you're going to obviously completely understand it. Like, yes. And he breaks it down for him, and he's like, so did that make sense? And they're kind of like stuck too, and he's just drowning in it. He's like, oh my god, I suck. I thought I was the top of the game. Like, I thought, like, oh, it's so simple. I've been helping these guys study. I was kind of frustrated by that, but now I realize I suck at explaining things. I'm a terrible teacher. I'm a terrible friend because of that. I love that whole situation. And Yorita and Usami trying to make him feel, but it's like, nah, buddy, it's good. No. That's more on us than anything else. But it's like, now that you add Subaru and Karuko to that equation, it's like, yeah, it's more of a you thing. But obviously, the test results come in, and all of our boys end up passing, so no summer school for them. And I love Usami's just celebrating, and I love the guys that cling on to Usami and Rintaro being like, no, you guys aren't supposed to, like, you're leaving us behind. You're not supposed to be passing without us. Didn't we make a pledge that basically we would not go a year without being in summer school until we graduate? Which even Yorita's thinking to himself, won't you not graduate if you keep failing tests? But yeah, obviously, Saku's getting all the credit for being a good teacher, which obviously is like a sore subject for him now. So I just thought that was kind of fun and sweet. But I thought it was a really beautiful moment with the teacher as well, when he kind of tells them like, oh, basically whatever you're going to do this summer, because summer break is here, like whatever you're going to do, go out there and have fun. But even they're like, what about studying and doing homework? And he's like, no, that's important too. But a very important part of your life is now, in the regards of have fun and kind of enjoy this time, because he's like, you'll look back on these moments of your life and recognize how great it was, and just it's a nice thing to be able to look back on your life and kind of enjoy. And I thought that was kind of a sweet sentiment that he had given them. They were like, oh man, God, you're actually the best teacher. He's like, yeah, so you guys go enjoy your summer break. Except for those of you who failed, I'm basically taking your summer break from you. And someone's like, you monster. All that hyping him up. And then the people who failed are just like, yo, you monster, you suck. Because he ripped he pulled the rug from like right underneath them in that regard. So Rintaro and the guys, along with some other guys in the class, decide to go hang out. They're trying to figure out what to do, and it comes down to Rintaro, and he's like, bowling, and they're like, excellent. So on the way walking there, Rintaro's kind of been thinking about like how like so much has changed this year for him. He was like, it was just like up to this year where it's like we started like, because he was surrounded by his friends, but he'd also kind of still kept himself separate from them, but also the rest of the class. But now it's like we're all kind of like operating like a group, like a class in like one unit, that he's kind of like, oh yeah, that's been such a really interesting change. And he thinks the big changes in his life have come ever since he met Karuko. She's been such a big part of that. And her and some other, Subaru and other girls from Kikyo, are walking on the other side of the street. And Rintaro is captivated by them, and Usami's about to like yell out to him, but the others had to shut him, because like, don't do that. Like, obviously, if there's any, like, we'll cause trouble for them, because so many people start asking questions, so we can't let anything kind of be known. And he's like, right. But then like Usami stays behind with Rintaro, and he's like, Rintaro, are you and Karuko dating? He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, obviously you like her, right? He's like, I'm pretty sure like Yorita and Saku know. And they're like, oh, Usami, you idiot. And then Rintaro's like stressing out, because he's like, wait, they knew? Is it that obvious? He even starts thinking like, does Karuko know? It's like, I don't think she does. I think you yourself are completely oblivious to the fact is that she likes you in turn too. He's only focusing on it on like a one-way street. He doesn't know, because he's thinking like she's just a very nice person and she's very kind to him. It's one of the things he likes about her. But it's like, she likes you too. I think literally, well, we know Subaru knows how she feels, and I think our trio, Usami, Yorita, and Saku, can probably also pick up too how she feels. But it's like, they want essentially Rintaro to know like, yo, you don't got to stress about it, don't worry about it, we got your back. But it's also like, that's why they've been avoiding it, because they're like, well, we don't want to put you in such an awkward position, even though it's super obvious, because you are super obvious to read. But it's like, we are your good friends, so we're around you enough while you're around Karuko, so it's perfectly clear to us how much you like her. So But Usami's just kind of like, yeah, man. Like, if you want, like, don't worry about it. Like, we won't tell. I won't tell anyone. You'll be our. I'm good at keeping secrets or something. And the others hit him in the back of the head. They're like, no, you're not. Leave him alone for a little bit and let's go. And at the bowling game, the crew splits up. Whoever loses has to pay for lunch, like the next day or whatever. And so, what was it? The team that Saku and Usami is on are on the winning side of things. And I love that when it comes to Saku, they're like, oh man, hopefully he sucks at bowling. That'd be great. And then he gets a strike. And you're just like, how is this fair? You're handsome, you're good at studying, and you're good at bowling. Like, dude, come on, just stop it. But then Usami poking fun of him is like, well, he is shitty at playing video games. One of the other people's like, oh my god, good, great. We should come over to your house one day and play video games, right? Because it's like, we got to find some fault with you. So if you suck at something, good, you know? And so Usami's feeling himself flexing on the other team because Rentaro is kind of a mess right now. His fingers get stuck in a bowling ball. It doesn't go far. It turns into a gutter ball, and he's just kind of like, I'm sorry, guys. And so while he's off getting a drink, trying to, like, you know, fix all his thoughts in his head, because yeah, specifically the conversation about dating kind of threw him off, because he's like, well, what is that exactly? Because he has no experience with that. Like, this is all kind of new to him. She might not be like the first girl he's ever liked, but it's like the feeling as much as he is about it is kind of throwing him off. And even Yorita comes over and it's like, oh, do you have any experience? And Yorita's like, no, I've never dated anyone either, so I don't have much experience. He's like, in fact, I don't think anyone at our school really does. But he's also like, you probably don't want to ask too many people. He's like, why? He's like, well, if you do, like, the guys at Chidori are definitely going to interrogate you, and you're too much of an open book that you'll crack under the pressure. And Rentaro's like, yeah, that's true. But I love Yorita's takeaway was kind of like twofold, where he's just like, for one, it's just the fact is that you feel comfortable enough to talk to me about it. It's like, he's like, the fact of the matter is, it's not even just the topic itself. It's just the fact is you came to me for advice. He's like, you've never come to me for advice before. And he's like, yeah, it just feels like proof. It's especially like last episode when you talked to us about your past. It's like, you're a lot more open. You've become so much more comfortable, like, telling us how you feel rather than kind of bottling it up. So he's like, no matter what the situation is, know that we got your back. We support you. And he's like, I know. It's like, I do trust, because he's like, yeah, it feels like you trust us. And he's like, I do. Because he said that to Saku a few episodes back. And I can't remember if Yorita and Usami overheard that conversation. It's definitely what Saku needed here, but I don't remember if Usami and Yorita heard that part of the conversation. I do believe they walked up. That might have been like episode 7 or something, like 6 or 7, something like that. So, but I think it means a lot to them. But essentially, it's kind of like, at the end of the day, Yorita's advice to him was like, don't think about it too much, like, you know, because it's like, right, none of us knows what dating is. And he's even suggesting, like, even couples who are dating, he's like, I think even they're, like, still figuring it out. Even they don't have the answer. So it's like, right, don't get yourselves, like, twisted up about it. Just kind of, like, take it in stride. And no matter what the outcome is, no matter where things go, just know we got your back through and through. And I thought that was kind of beautiful. And it's like, cool. So let's get back to the game. Usami, he's got to pay the price. I mean, he brought up the whole dating thing and kind of got you all twisted up. And he's been over there talking mad crap. So I think it's time for us to put him in his place. And I love Yorita's just kind of serious face. I do love that he's just kind of like the... he can, not no nonsense, but he can be super blunt amongst the group. Even though, like, Saku seems like he could be that. But Yorita can, like... He can take the knife and twist it, as we've seen, like, with that, like, serious personality of his. And obviously, Rentaro and Yorita's team ends up coming up from behind and winning. And obviously the others are super pissed at Usami for, like, I guess he may have been a major part of them losing the game and kind of loitering it on... Yorita, like, really going in on Usami to get him back for all that trash talk. But because it is summer, the suggestion comes up about hanging out not only with Karuko, but Subaru as well. But then, like, all Rentaro could think about was like, oh, get to hang out with Karuko. He's like, wait, no, it's not just us, it's all of us together. And then he's also thinking, well, we just study together. Would it be weird to ask them to go hang out, like, because that's studying, that's one thing, but this would be asking to hang out in the summer, like on a personal level, like outside of studying and just as a group. But then he gets texted by Subaru, who's like, I'll tell you this because I know Kaoruko won't tell you. Her birthday's coming up. It's like on the 22nd. And it's like, wait, seriously? So I was like, interesting. So I guess that's going to be a struggle for Rentaro now, too, deciding like what he's going to do about that. And especially with, him figuring stuff up about, how to handle the fact is he likes her. Granted, now he knows that his friends know how he feels, but he might be a little awkward still, knowing like anytime he's interacting with her that he's like, oh, is my feelings on display? And he can probably look to his friends' faces who'll probably try to pretend like, oh, we don't see anything. We're not seeing how obviously you're being flustered or whatever. It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic flows going forward. And I mean, what they kind of get up to in general for summer, and also like what he plans on getting her for her birthday. I'd assume the person he'd probably go to for advice would be Subaru, because he'd probably ask her like what kind of birthday present should he get, or I wouldn't be surprised if he also goes to his mom for advice. Because when Yorita was bringing up the whole like not having any dating advice, I was like, well, you got one person in your life that you could talk to about it. I mean, well, probably three, but I mean, like, we don't know like how often he talks to his brother. Does he want to talk to his dad about that stuff? Does he want to talk to his mom about that stuff? Because his mom, I don't think he knows that his mom knows how he feels too. But she is also probably like the others. Even if the others don't know how Kaoruko feels, definitely his mom definitely does. So she knows they both are into each other and just they're oblivious to how the other feels about, well, the other, so... Either way, some very fascinating and cute developments. It's going to be interesting to see ultimately where the next episode ends up taking us going forward with all of this. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good